welcome to the latest episode of the Lazy Wealth Creation podcast. And thank you so much for tuning in. You regular people, you really make these episodes what they are. And I really want to say thank you so much for everybody subscribing, listening, and giving us your valuable content as well, and telling us about all of the things that you've tried and maybe not been successful with, and the things you've tried and you have been successful with. We don't care if you're failing at various things. The point is the lesson of the journey. So well done to everybody that's getting up and getting yours. Absolutely brilliant work, you lazy wealth creators. So today, this is slightly different from our normal thing because it's a delayed wealth creation, but not for you, actually. This is about saving money up for your children. So I'm going to explain a little bit as we go on. So here we go. So money saving tip, paying and forgetting. Every time you get paid, whoever it is that pays you, whether that is your employer, whether that is you might be on certain state benefits or something like that, some social security, or whether it's a family friend or a family member who puts money into your account for whatever reason, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to really look at putting some of that money away as soon as you get it into a savings account and then just forgetting about it. Every single time you get paid. So if you get paid 2-3 times a month, 4 times a month, 8 times a month, it doesn't matter. If you can put just a couple of percentage points away at every single time you get paid. What we're trying to do is we're trying to build up a kitty, a pot of money for you, for your rainy day, for your new business startup, whatever it is that you're going to need that money for in the future. Only when you desperately need that money should you then go and update your passbook or look in that account and start to see just how much money you've actually accumulated. Now, the myth is, it needs to be £10 or £50 or £100. No, it is absolute nonsense. You can start off by putting 50p or 50 cents inside that savings account. It does not have to be a lot of money. £2 or $2 in your savings account is more than enough to get you moving forward. And then do you know what? If you can afford to put more in it, put more in it. We're not trying to make you struggle. Let's say you got £100 and 50 pence into your bank account today. You take that 50 pence and you put that into your savings account. You say, Carl, 50p in my savings account? What's the big deal? It's not about that as a big deal. It's about setting your mind up for the process of putting money in your account. We're trying to get you to change your belief system. We're trying to get you to change your pattern of behavior. And what that means is every time you get money, the first thing you do is you go, I'll transfer some money into my savings account. It could be 50 pence, 50 cents. It could be £50, $50. It does not matter. The act of physically putting money into your savings account, that's what we're trying to focus on here. Obviously, the more you can do comfortably, the better off it will be for you in the longer term. So if you can spare £100 a month, then put £100 a month in your savings account. That's fine. Some people with more experience in business might say, well, Carl, it's terrible to put money into a bank account. Maybe you're right. But what we're trying to focus on is the physical act of saving money, delayed gratification. Save up and buy something later on down the line that you might need, whether that's an emergency fund or whether that's saving up for a new car fund. It doesn't matter. So that's the money saving tip. Now, like I said at the beginning, this one is about money making, but not for you, for your kids or maybe nieces and nephews, whatever it is that you have in your family structure. So a couple of little bits for you here. Christmas time, Easter time, other religious festival times, they are very often a time of giving where family members will give to your child or your niece or your nephew or whatever it is that you may have. And one of the things I would like you to think about doing is this year, asking your family, I know you normally spend about X on my child, but this year, I would really love it if you would spend only 50% of what you would normally spend and put another 50% into this savings account that is locked, that I cannot touch. If that was going to be an equity ISA for your child or a Roth IRA for your child in America, it doesn't matter. Something where nobody can touch it. It's just locked and secured until the child is 18 or 21. So basically, if they normally spend £50, you say, look, I'd appreciate it this year if you would just spend £25 on a gift and put the other £25 in the S&P 500 or the Roth IRA or the equity ISA. It doesn't matter what. And likewise, the same for you as well. Of course, at times at Christmas when children are going to be looking for the latest gaming device or maybe the latest phones, you may not be able to do that. But for everything else, really focus on what they have asked for or what they need. And then anything else is surplus. Now, I appreciate some of you may have not got a great deal of money, and you may be struggling sometimes from week to week just to pay for the food bill. I understand that. I'm not telling you that you need to put large amounts of money away for your child's future. What I'm saying is, if there's a spare 20 pence, put it in your child's account. If there's a spare 50 pence, put it in your child's savings account and put it in as soon as possible. And the reason for this is because interest earned on that income compounds over time. So by the time your child reaches the age of 18, the 50 pence you put in their account when they were 2 has actually gained quite a lot of interest, considerable interest, and it could be worth quite a lot more, especially when it's compounded with all of those other 50 pences or 20 pences that you put into the account. But if you put just £50 per year into a children's account, that's going to be £900 by the time the child becomes an adult. And you say, well, £900 can't get you very much, Carl. At today's rate, that's enough to pay for driving lessons. It's enough to get them started in a new business. And as you know, you lazy wealth creators on this channel, how much money do you really need to start up a side hustle? You need far less than £900. You can usually start up with less than 100. So there's 9 different attempts there for your child at £50 a year. Okay? So don't tell me it can't be done. If you can afford to buy 20 cigarettes, or you can afford to buy a 6-pack of lager, or if you can afford to buy 5 bottles of wine in a week, you can afford to put £5 a week away in your child's account and just miss out on those little luxuries. It does only take minutes to set up an online payment account like Stripe or PayPal. This is where the money making comes in now. When you're selling your stuff from the side hustles that we've been teaching you about, what I want you to do is, instead of withdrawing all of that money straight away, I would like you to keep 10% of that money in your PayPal or in your Stripe account. And I want you to keep it there for a rainy day, because not only are you going to be able to buy more things using those 10% savings for your new business, for your side hustle, but also just in case you need it, it gives you a little safety blanket, a little cushion for you to have that little bit of peace of mind. And again, it's 10%. So if it was £100, you put £10. If it was £500, you put £50. So it goes up incrementally, but only by 10%. Just try to remember 10%. And if you can do that every time you get paid, before you know it, you're going to have a beautiful little nest egg of money just waiting for you for when you truly need it. So to summarize then, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is about paying and forgetting. So whenever you can, try to put as much money as possible in your savings account that's not painful, and just forget it. Just leave it there to grow. Don't pay attention to it. Just do it as soon as you get paid. If you get paid once, twice, 5 times a month, put a couple of pound, just a few percentage, 5 or 10%, it will be absolutely great. Put that into a savings account, forget it exists. And then for the future, for the money makers, for your children, do the same thing. Just put half of what you would normally spend on them anyway into their savings that you can't touch. Ask your friends and family to do the same. And then also when you're selling your stuff on your side hustles from PayPal or Strike or whatever it is that you use, or Stripe, then put 10% of that in the retained account for savings, so that that will potentially pay for your next side hustle. I hope that's been useful for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the other side.